think multiplayer is up next, I believe, which should be cool. So I think Billy and Sealer are probably going to come through here. I've got a sheet. What have we got? Get some tips and tricks on how to play Dragon Age multiplayer with a multiplayer team.
There we go.
Yeah.
That sounds like someone wrote it.
It does.
No, Cam just made it up.
Yeah.
Freestyle. Yeah, no, it was really fun to be able to sit down and talk about some of the more behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good because, I mean, audio is not something that's always front and center as we go through, as we, like, in the public eye, I guess, as we're making the game, as we're, doing various, demos and we're talking to the press and stuff like that. It doesn't come up very often, The voice acting comes up a lot, but...
And the music.
Yeah.
But like Jeremy said, if we did our job right, it won't be mentioned because it's very true.
It just fits.
Yeah, because you notice bad audio very quick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to have a little bit of a break before the multiplayer starts as well. So I don't know how long we've got. I'm just going to run around here until they tell me to shut up and get off.
Just unplug the machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you destroyed the bridge.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a great way to kill people.
It is. It is. And I planted my flag, up the top. It used to be this, actually. Like, at one point, this was where you'd plant your flag to claim this keep, but we moved it up to the top. Add that extra sort of fight in there.
I remember that, yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're been given the wrap it up. So thank you everyone for joining us, and thanks guys for coming along.
Yeah, thanks, Cam.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks everybody for checking it out.
Yeah, and I hope you guys love the music. I'm sure you will. It's brilliant, and all the work the audio team has done. Very, very impressed.
And we had a blast.
We did have a blast.
Cool. All right, thanks everyone.
See ya.
Madame, the negotiations are far from concluded. Madame! Unlike the Empress, we will not be charmed by your parlor tricks.
Alas, it appears more urgent matters demand my attention. Now, run along, dear.
The threat will unite them. You will lead them.
Xbox One, now $349.
Welcome to the Dragon Age Inquisition Tactical Camera Tutorial. In Inquisition, you have two modes to choose from when battling your enemies. Push the view button to pause the battle and assess what you're up against. You can drive your cursor over the battlefield, letting you inspect your enemy's strengths and weaknesses. Cassandra, a close combat warrior, is is moved to the front line to face the battle head-on. Varric is moved to a more tactical position for his sniping ability. The Inquisitor, a rogue, is set to sneak through the back end of the battle, putting her into the ideal position for her stealth abilities. Have Solus place an ice mine before any enemies can approach Varric. Hit the trigger to resume time and watch your plans play out. The battle resumes, and the Rage and Despair demons are down. The Inquisitor takes on the Wraith with Shadow Strike, and it falls. From tactical camera mode, you can also interact with the Fade Rift, sealing it.
To be demons. Chargers! Clean up and clear out. There's money on the horizon.
The threat will unite them. You will lead them.
Tell me, where is your maker now? Call him. Call down his wrath upon me. You cannot, for he does not exist.
They are under the command of the Venatori, in service to something called the Elder One.
The Templars come to kill you.
If we are to withstand this monster, we must control the battle.
More pain this time. The Elder One still comes. You are a mistake. You should never have existed.
Inquisition! With the Herald! For your lives! For all of us!
It ends here. Bow before your new god and be spared.
Welcome to the Dragon Age Inquisition class specialization. To help you choose a class for your Inquisitor, here are a few examples of powers and abilities for warriors, mages, and rogues. As the Rogue Inquisitor, you can specialize in one of 3 different areas of expertise. First, we'll take a look at the Assassin. This specialization focuses on deadly strikes. Here is an example of using 3 of these abilities together. Start by using Knockout Bomb to incapacitate nearby enemies. Then use Mark of Death to increase damage to a target. Finally, finish that target with Hidden Blades. The Artificer relies on mechanisms, such as the Spike Trap, to catch enemies off guard. The Tempest specialization uses alchemy to control the battlefield. As the Mage Inquisitor, you can specialize in one of 3 different areas of expertise. First, we'll take a look at the Rift Mage. This specialization focuses on the Inquisitor's command of the Fade. The Pull of the Abyss ability pulls foes in for a focused attack. The Necromancer uses control over the living and dead to take down enemies. With the Spirit Mark ability, any fallen enemies will temporarily fight their former allies. The Knight Enchanter is a close-quarters combat mage who is an expert in defensive magic. Here's an example of using 3 abilities together. Begin by using Fade Cloak to momentarily become invulnerable. Next, cast Disruption Field to slow down your enemies, and then use Spirit Blade to damage them. As the Warrior Inquisitor, you could specialize in one of 3 different areas of expertise. First, we'll take a look at the Champion. This specialization focuses on controlling the battlefield. The Line in the Sand ability creates a wall of defense, capable of containing the enemy or creating a choke point. The Templar uses divine energies to the party's advantage. With the Wrath of Heaven ability, you can stun many opponents. The Reaver draws power from the blood of enemies. Here is an example of using 3 of these abilities together. Start with Ring of Pain to do AoE damage and increase the potency of other Reaver abilities. Dragon Rage does massive damage by taking some of your health. Finally, use Devour to rip out the heart of your enemy and replenish your health. Which specialization will you choose?
I'll take my leave.
See you tomorrow, hon.
There she is.
Get your filthy hands off of me!
Oh, stop being so shy, lass. All I want is a little taste. You ungrateful...
She's not interested. But Bianca here is a sucker for drunk, dumb, and ugly. Take a hint, human.
For almost 1,000 years, the world believed it was in the hands of the Maker. And now many believe you are the agent of his will. Whatever the truth is, that belief gives you power.
There is a place that waits for a force to hold it. There is a place where the Inquisition can build, grow.
You will resist. You will always resist. It matters not.
All of this happened because of fanatics and arguments about the next world.
I will not suffer even an unknowing rival. You must die.
It's time we start believing in this one.
Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Dragon Age launch day stream. My name is Billy Buskell. I'm one of the producers on Dragon Age Multiplayer. With me I have Graham Scott. We also have Amelia Von Heiden and Luke Barrett. And then we also have a special guest. We have Lady Insanity who's joining us for a session today. So we'll hear some feedback and some commentary from her. Now, if you haven't seen Multiplayer yet, this is our 4-player dungeon crawler. It's about friendly competition, working as a team together, and going through some dungeons, getting sweet loot, and moving on. Now, if you've been watching our previous streams, we've actually been going through and playing as kind of low to mid-level characters, and we haven't shown a whole lot of new characters. But today we're going to show off some really cool characters. Some of the ones you're going to unlock as you get deeper and deeper into the mode. So Graham, right here, maybe tell us who you got unlocked today.
I've got the Necromancer, who, from all of the streams that I've been watching over the weekend, seems to be a pretty popular choice for what people want to see. So she's pretty cool.
All right. Now, Amelia, you also have a new character that we haven't seen yet. Tell us about who you've got.
That's right. I'm playing the Elementalist. He's an arcane caster of natural magic, and he's pretty sassy.
Nice. Awesome. And Luke, who are you using today?
I am playing as the Templar. She is very mean.
Awesome.
Sometimes she says mean things.
So she's going to be our tank today. And Ash, Lady Insanity, why don't you tell us who you're using today?
I'm using the Assassin, and
awesome.
In PAX, I loved it, so might as well use it again.
Awesome.
The dead
This is a pretty pretty badass group here we're gonna have. So we're gonna jump in. The team's gonna start going through. We're using some pretty mid-level characters here, but we've unlocked a bunch of abilities for them, and we'll show you guys a little bit more about them as we get deeper into the match. Now, if you're wondering what this weird fuzzy thing on my lip, that's Movember. I don't do it to just creep out children. It's to raise awareness. So, feel free to check out Movember.com, and there's a Bioware team there. You can always donate and change the face of cancer. All right, so we're jumping in real quick here. We got some about level 5, level 6 characters. You can see a bunch of new abilities. Graham, maybe tell us a bit about what you're seeing or what you're using, what abilities you've loaded out for the element or our Necromancer.
Yeah, so I can't remember all of the ability names. I think so. On my X button, I think it's Winter's Grasp.
Yep.
I believe, which basically chills enemies. I have the upgrade on it, so it actually does a larger AOE and freezes the targeted enemy in place, like that guy up there. I also have the upgraded Fade Step, which lets me zoom around the battlefield and also leave behind a wake of frosty destruction, which is a really cool ability. And then my last one is Horror, which basically
nice. There you go.
causes mass confusion and then scares the hell out of whatever target I have locked on.
That's a big purple skull, big skull of doom, basically,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Awesome.
Very intimidating.
Those spiders.
Yes. If you watched previous streams, you may have noticed I'm a huge fan of Fade Step and Frost Step. Luke, maybe not as much, but
Need more damage for me. We should also point out that nobody has barrier this time. This
yeah.
will be the first time we have
pure damage.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
We're going pure DPS here, right? This is a team that's going to be made for all offense, very little defense. All right, so you can see actually we just went into a treasure room. Now, if you've never seen multiplayer before for Dragon Age, it's a 4-player co-op mode. It's all about teamwork and friendship, working together, get your way through these dungeons. These are roughly made up of about 5 zones, and in between each zone to give you a little space to recover. But it's 4 players. It's completely separated from the single player. So you can come in here, play a few matches, check out new characters and classes you've never seen before. And there's not as much commitment, right? You can go in there, play a couple quick matches, test out a character, test out a class, see if you like it, without having to commit to that multi-hour campaign. If you're diving into a campaign today and tomorrow, you're going to notice that's going to be a beefy experience. This is going to get you in and out quick, looking at about 25-minute matches. So.
One of the things I like doing when playing single player is when you've got one of those really long operations and you're like, I really want this reward, but it's 2 hours. Play 2 hours of multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back, go back to single player experience, and you got all your nice operations done.
Or if you're like me, intend to play 2 hours of
multiplayer. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of Red Bull off camera here because a few of us were playing until about 2 or 3 in the morning last night. So.
I think you actually brought up a pretty good point there, Billy. The friendship is a large part of this mode. Some people might even say friendship is blood magic.
There you go.
We've received word of a terrible threat to our interests.
All right, so we just went over a few of the spells that Graham's using for the Necromancer, but the Necromancer is really about controlling the undead. Right now we see the first 3 spells that Graham's using. Have 3 abilities. So he's got the what we call the Skull of Doom, or I like to call it the Skull of Doom. There it is. But yeah, you can take on other abilities that'll give you a bit more, I guess, control of your enemies. Luke, do you want maybe tell us a bit about what we'd expect from maybe a higher level Necromancer as we get deeper into those trees?
So there's basically 2 ways you can play your Necromancer. One of the trees is cold related, so you'll get your blizzards and your other ice abilities, Ice Mine, and that's for shutting down and slowing down enemies. The other side is all of your undead and necromancery, or typical necromancer stuff. One of the really key ones down at the bottom is the Grave Marker ability, and what that will do is it puts a damage over time on whatever you target, and if it actually happens to die while that dot is still on the target, they will actually switch teams and play for your team, which is really handy when you're fighting a lot larger creatures.
Yeah.
You can even team swap the really big creatures. This, however, if you're playing single player, does not work on dragons or bosses.
Yeah. a good note to take there. Now it's awesome when you see something like maybe a Pride Demon join your team and start fighting everything off.
Yeah,
that's a great ally to have.
Prowlers and Shadows are really good because they'll just destroy all the low-level creatures.
Yeah.
I should note too, it actually comes with, when you get a creature, it actually takes away your ability to use the dot anymore, so you can either have a creature on your team or you can use it as a dot, but you cannot do both. This basically makes you make a tactical choice to be doing more damage or have a creature under your command.
Yeah.
And means that you can only have one at a time.
Yeah. So a lot of the way the trees are built and a lot of the characters, the way they're spec'd, is about choice, right? It's something that we really believe strongly in at Bioware, and especially on Dragon Age. And so you'll see that theme carry over into the multiplayer mode. As you're playing through a character and you're choosing different abilities, you're going to have to make choices. You're not going to have enough ability points to get every single ability, every single passive. So that's where you're going to see that different build show up. Luke might build a character a certain way, I might build different, Graham may build a very different character as well, and that's actually the fun part of playing the last few days. We're seeing a lot of players take builds that we wouldn't have thought of before. So now we're actually hearing a lot of questions about, does multiplayer affect single player? The short answer is no. That's the nice thing about it, is that it's thematically tied. So we're all agents of the Inquisition. You're all helping the Inquisitor in these kind of off missions that you'd see, almost similar to what the Inquisitor is going to see on the war table. But there's no mechanical tie. So you can actually play multiplayer and it's going to have no impact on your single player story. It's just that nice thematic world tie-ins. Now, if you guys are just joining us, you're going to see these are classes that you're not going to have at the start. When you first start up multiplayer, if you're playing tonight, tomorrow, anytime this week, you just see that you start off with a Legionnaire, which is our warrior. You're going to see an Archer, which is our rogue to start, and then the Keeper is our support mage that's going to start you off. These are actually characters you unlock, and there's a couple different ways you can do that. So the ones we're seeing here, we've played a whole bunch of hours on the accounts here, listening to feedback from the last streams and Twitter. And we said, let's go craft some characters. So we can actually go buy a bunch of chests, and if you find items that you don't necessarily want, you can actually go ahead, salvage those, and get crafting materials. So we went and crafted, for example, the starting armor here for each of these characters. We'll show you a bit more about the crafting in a little bit. But these characters here, we have the Necromancer, that's what Graham's playing here on the main feed. And then we also have our Elementalist. We have a... Sorry, I'm just running out here. Elementalist, we have our Templar, who is our tank. That's Luke's controlling. And the Assassin's a second rogue, so dual dagger rogue there. Now, and Luke may have mentioned earlier, we don't have a Keeper, so we don't have a support mage this time. So typically when you start off, you have that support mage that's going to keep you, nice and healthy, protected with barrier. We don't have that right now, so the team's really relying on a very strong offense. Being based in Edmonton, if you ever watched the 80s Oilers, that was all offense all the time.